So today we are making some elegant verrines. Now these ones are in the flavor of matcha strawberry cheesecake. And we're taking all the best from those elements and combining it into a small little cup, which can be enjoyed on a dessert buffet. So today we are making a strawberry confit. That just means cooked with sugar. Now this recipe today you can use for strawberry or mango, and I'll leave all the details in your recipe. So let's get started. As always, mise en place all of your ingredients, so I have everything ready to go. Now with your strawberry puree, if you're not purchasing the commercial product, you can certainly make it yourself. I made mine myself today by just taking some frozen strawberries, letting them thaw, blend, and then strain those little seeds out. And again, you can do the same for mango as well. So I'm going to get my strawberry puree into my saucepan here, along with some lemon or lime juice. I have some vanilla bean. You can either use the paste or the seeds from the vanilla bean pod, and I'll put all the details in your recipe. Let's get this on over a medium heat, and we just want to start getting this nice and warm. The thickening agent for this confit is pectin NH. So pectin NH is a thermoreversible pectin, so it can be set and then heat it up back again, and then will set again. So it just means that you can use it for lots of different applications. It's very easy to use. So all you need to do is ensure that you mix it with your sugar. And this is going to help disperse the powder. So when we add it to our strawberry puree, it's not going to clump. Now that our strawberry puree, lemon juice, and that vanilla is starting to get warm, we're going to sprinkle in our sugar and our pectin whilst whisking. So this recipe is similar to a jam, yet it's not going to be as chunky or as sweet. And we're going to continuously mix until all that sugar is dissolved, and we're bringing this up to a simmer. Hey Google, set timer for 1 minute. So it's just come to a simmer. I'm going to turn it down really nice and low, and we're going to cook this for about 1 minute. Hey Google, turn off. Okay, so it's been cooking for 1 minute. Let's transfer it into a container, or I'm just going to put mine back into my bowl. And just cover to contact with some cling wrap. And we're going to set that aside to cool down completely and set. Once it's cooled down a bit, you can store it into the refrigerator, and when ready to use, just put it into a larger bowl, give it a nice whisk until it's smooth, and then you can use it to pipe into your favorite desserts or use it for plating. So today we're making a cookie crunch. I'm actually going to be using this to make some verrines or little spoon desserts, which are like a cheesecake. So this is kind of like the cheesecake crumb. But we want to ensure when we are adding this to our dessert that it stays super nice and crunchy. So to do that, we're going to be adding some cocoa butter and also some margarine or vegan butter. So to get started, you want to go ahead and choose your cookies. So I'm using the classic digestive biscuits. I understand in the US, the graham cracker is more popular, so if you can get the plant-based version of that, or if you take in the vegan cheesecake course, you can use one of those cookies, or any type of cookie that essentially you enjoy. All right, so these are gonna go into our food processor, and I'm just using a small little food processor. I love these ones that you get with your immersion blenders. It's good for smaller quantities. And just break our cookies up in there. You can of course do this gluten-free too. You can use some gluten-free cookies, so very versatile. And we're gonna blend this into a fine crumb. Okay, we've got a nice fine crumb. And then all there's to do is to melt our vegan margarine and our cocoa butter. So I'm just going to pop this in the microwave just to make things nice and easy, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, this is nice and melted. I'm going to add to my crumb and give this a blend until it's all incorporated. And what you'll be left is what looks like essentially wet sand. So I'm just going to pop this into a bowl, or you can use a container. I'm going to store this in the fridge until I'm ready to use. If it clumps up, don't worry, you can just take it out of the fridge and just break it up a little bit. But it's going to stay super crunchy when it's inside our dessert with the surrounding cream. So to get started, you do want to make sure that you prepare your sponge. So I've already gone ahead and done that. It's cooled down and resting, so we can use it shortly. You also need to prepare some pastry cream, which I've already done as well. You will need to make your strawberry confit, and I've already prepared that. It's set, and I've whipped it and popped it in a piping bag, ready to assemble into our Verrine. And we have our biscuit crunch. So this is going to give it that cheesecake element, like the base of a cheesecake. So that's already done and ready to go too. Now the last thing that needs to be prepared, which I'm going to do with you now, is the matcha cheesecake mousse. So let's get into making this now. We have our pastry cream, which has been prepared and whipped smooth. I have some vegan cream cheese. This is just a commercial variety that I purchased at a grocery store, and I've just allowed it to come to room temperature, or you can put it in the microwave just in 5-second intervals. You just want to make sure that it's really soft. We don't want any large kind of like little chunks, hard pieces of that cream cheese in there. I also have some vegan whipping cream, which we're going to whip shortly, and a few other components which we're going to add along the way. So I always like to whip my cream first. I'm going to whip this into the soft peak stage. If you are using a whipping cream that has a lot of sugar already added, you may want to reduce the sugar content in this recipe. So as you can see, our peaks are just falling, so I'm happy with that consistency. We can set that aside for a moment. Now going to our vegan cream cheese, which has been softened. To that, we're going to add our confectioner's sugar. And just a reminder, if you are using that really sweet vegan whipping cream, you might want to reduce this a little bit. So just adjust accordingly. I'm also using some lactic acid, so this is going to give it even more tart flavor to give it that kind of cheesecake-like flavor. And you can purchase this on Amazon or any good chef ingredients store. It comes in a powdered product, and I know with the name lactic acid, it sounds like it wouldn't be plant-based, but lactic acid is essentially the bacteria which is made when we make things like yogurts and stuff like that, or sourdough breads. It is the sour taste which is coming from the bacteria. Okay, so it's going to give it that fermented sort of cheesecake flavor. I also have some vanilla, and you can use the fresh vanilla bean pod and just scrape the seeds out, or you can use the vanilla paste. I'll leave that up to you, and all the information will be in the recipe. Now let's give this a good mix. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, once that's all incorporated, we can add our matcha powder. I've just boiled my kettle. We're going to add just a little bit to turn it into like a paste. It has a very grassy smell to it, very aromatic. And I'm really mixing it very well. I don't want lumps in there. It is also a good idea to sift the powder as well, just to kind of give it a helping hand. Let's get our paste inside. And let's beat this until it's incorporated. All right, already becoming a beautiful color. I have here my pastry cream. It is already prepared and smoothed. So I'm gonna add that as well. And let's incorporate that. Now we just wanna slowly incorporate that whipped cream. So I'm probably putting about a third at a time, and we're just gonna fold that through. Okay, let's give it a taste. It definitely has that little bit of tartness from the lactic acid to give it that cheesecakey flavor, and then those grassy tones coming through from the matcha green tea powder. Wow, that's delicious. And with all those other elements, I think it's going to be so fresh and yummy. It's not too sweet either. So if you're someone who doesn't like a dessert too sweet, I think this one will be for you. So I'm going to pop that into a piping bag now. Now let's get all of our components together. We have our strawberry confit, our mousse, we've got our crumb here. I have my cake as well. I'm gonna put this cake onto a smaller cutting board just so it's a bit easier. And our little Verrine cups. So I am making little mini ones, and these ones are 60 mils. So, and these ones are little round ones, which I think are really cute. And we should be able to get at least 20. Now the first thing that I want to do is we need to cut the ends of our piping bags here. And I'm going to start off with just a little bit of mousse down the bottom. Let's do a test one just to see how we want to lay these up. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of our mousse, and then I'm going to go in with some of this crumb. Let's peel away the backing paper from our cake. And I want to be able to see that layer from the outside. So we can see that pink, another little thin layer of our mousse. Let's see. This might be too many layers, we'll give it a try. We might just opt for one layer of our cake. What do we reckon? I think maybe just one layer of the cake might be better, and then we can make each layer a little thicker so it's more distinct. But we'll set that one aside anyway, and we can use this as a taste tester. Okay, so because we're gonna make the layers a little bit thicker, we might introduce another element. So I have here, these are some moon rocks which I made, and I made these ones with the pistachios, and they are pink because after I made them, I put a little bit of raspberry, freeze-dried raspberry powder in them. So I do have a video linked in your course dashboard, how to make these moon rocks, and you can make them with any kind of nut. They are so delicious. So let's pull some of these out. So I think this would be fun. And they're such a great color. I'm gonna start off with a little bit of these rocks down the bottom. And some of our crumb, so like a spoonful of the crumb. We have our cake layer. Let's get some of that fresh strawberry confit. And then our cheesecake. That's another little option. I think we're gonna go with that. So let's do the same for all of the other ones. I do really like how these turned out. We've got all the different colors on there. It's very pretty with the pink and then the crumb, and then we have the cake, our strawberry, and then the mousse. You can give them a little tap just to get rid of some of those air bubbles. Okay, let's get these going onto a tray into the fridge to set. Cover with some cling wrap just so that they don't dry out. And I'm just going to transfer this into the fridge to set. So essentially for a couple of hours, or you can prepare these the day ahead of time, and then on the day that you are presenting your verrines, you can do the garnishes the following day. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set these in the fridge so tomorrow we can put our display together. So let's get these in the fridge. So the first thing that we need to do is start melting our chocolate. So we are tempering our chocolate today, and tempering is where we manipulate the temperature of the chocolate to create a nice crystallized structure so we can mold it into the different shapes that we want. So because I am making this dairy-free today, I am using some dairy-free white chocolate. And this is just a brand that I really like that I can get here in Europe. It's from Fantastic Foods. There's many different brands of vegan white chocolate on the market now. So this is just one that I like and it's not too expensive. So that's what I'm using today. I've gone ahead and chopped it up nice and fine, and I'm going to be melting this in my microwave. You can also do this over a bain-marie, just ensure that you don't get any water in your chocolate. So I'm going to pop this into my microwave now in 30-second intervals, and we want to almost melt all of it, so like 75% melted. So I'm going to go over here now and melt my chocolate in my microwave. So our chocolate is 75% melted. You can still see that there's like little lumps of chocolate. I probably only had it in there for about 40 seconds to be honest. So you might want to start off with 30 seconds and then just do like 5 seconds at a time. So we're going to give that a good mix. And we essentially need to cool this down now to 27 degrees Celsius. Working temperature, which is 29 degrees Celsius. So I've got myself a piece of baking paper and I've just cut it into a triangle, and we're going to roll this into a cone. Like so, and just tighten that edge so we make that hole nice and small. We close that up, and then this long piece we're going to tuck inside. Okay, now that's nice and secure. Just pop it into something to help it stand upright, and we can put our chocolate inside. You don't want to overfill the cone, otherwise it'll be very difficult to close it. Now in front of me I have some acetate, and this one I would say is about 3 inches wide, and I've just put some cans just to hold it down so it doesn't curl up on me. And here I have, you can use like a baguette tray if you would like. I actually just got this is a baking paper box, and just cut the top out because we're going to sit it in there so it can be curved. It will make sense when we go through it all. All right, so I've just cut a hole of the tip of my chocolate cone here. And we're going to do some dots again. Not all the way at the top, we're going to leave a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to do some little dots. I'm going to get my knife and just swipe up. And then carefully we're going to take our acetate. I'm going to let that chocolate run down. And I have some freeze-dried fruit powder here. This one's raspberry. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit over the top just for some interest. And again, just taking those cans off, make sure you've got a good grip. And whilst they are still wet, we are going to put it into our form to create that curve. There we go, it's in. So see how they're going to curve because we put it inside our box. Now you can pop that into the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes and they are going to set up, and then you can use them to put on your decorations for your favorite pastries. Now it's the day of us putting our dessert bar together. So I am going to garnish them. And now you can garnish them any way that you like. These are just some ideas of how you can garnish or decorate your desserts. So I just put my strawberry confit into the microwave and I've heated it up until it's back to its liquid form. And I'm gonna put a little bit into each one. So it's actually gonna set into a nice little jelly on top. Happy with those. Most of them are actually already set. See how? And it also helps to seal everything in, so I'm really happy with those. So I've just got some fresh strawberries for our garnish. If you don't have fresh strawberries, don't worry about it. We don't have to use strawberries. You can just plate them like this. And with our neutral glaze, this is optional, but I always like to brush over my strawberries, and this is going to keep them really nice and fresh. So especially if your desserts have been sitting out, they're not going to go brown. So it's a nice idea just to keep them lovely and fresh looking. So now we have our final finishing touches. We have these beautiful white chocolate petals that we created earlier. So I'm going to take one of my little cups and then we can go in with our petal. Now you can keep them this length or you can cut them. I'll leave that up to you. I think we're just going to pop them in there just like so, and you can even put a few little rose petals on there for some garnish. Or the other way that we can do it is we can trim this a little bit and we can stick it inside like so. So yeah, there's lots of different options. Or you can put it underneath maybe underneath the strawberry like that, I think is very nice. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think we're going to keep it like that, so we've got a bit of movement. I also have these moon rocks that we made, which are really pretty. It's got a bit of green on there, I think it's nice. Don't they look gorgeous? Now, this is a little option for you. When I purchased these little Verrine cups, they actually came with these little mini spoons. Pop the spoon inside like so. So they are ready to go. All right, they are all ready to go to display. We have our matcha and strawberry, and we'll have a little bit of different textures in there as well from the biscuit sponge, and then also we have some crunchy moon rocks in there too, and of course our strawberry confit.